Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Spec 3.0 meeting. I think we all know each other. So on this, Pedro, do you want to introduce yourself before we get into it?
Can you hear me?
Yep, all good.
Okay, so I'm Pedro. I'm new in the team. Well, I was collaborating with Tasting KPI since January, basically in the CLI repository so far. And well, now I'm during the last month. Well, I joined the Postman team in 1st of October. So well, and I'm doing. I have right now, and my mentor is Jonas. So he's doing a great job with the onboarding. And yeah, well, this is
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
No ass kissing.
And this is the first meeting I joined about the Spec 3.0. So, well, I've been reading the list of the GitHub issue, about all the contents, and well, I know more or less how to spec, but I'm really curious about how it's running.
Well, welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you, man.
Anyone else want to say something before getting started?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm happy that the conference is over and I can fully focus on work. That's all I wanted to say. And it's sad that it's already dark and we have the same hour and Pedro has lights outside.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah, I agree. Because if I didn't have this light, it was also like, hello. So, yeah, it's nice.
Dark.
It is.
It's here.
All right, let's get right into it. Heiko, do you want to start everything off?
Yeah, sure, I can. Yeah, I'm going now through all those request reply issues and Fran joined. Nice, we are complete. And yeah, let's start with Lucas. You wanted me to adopt more samples, but all those samples are actually in, I think, API 2.0, what we want.
Yeah. Did you see my answer? I provided it a few hours ago.
Yeah,
So,
no, not yet.
So yeah. When I wrote my comment, I didn't realize that we did not yet migrate the examples.
Okay.
Makes sense. And I actually wrote there that like since the conference is over, I plan to actually take your proposal and what is merged for 3.0 by Fran, and I want to take this ADIO example that I mentioned also in my comment, and next few days I want to migrate it to 3.0 request reply.
Okay, so yeah. Just if you migrate it to simple 3.0, I can do request reply stuff, but migrate everything from 2 to 3 is a pretty hard job for me at the moment.
Yeah, but I also want to do request reply to because they're perfect use case because they are using request reply,
Yeah,
but they can't use it, so they just have descriptions.
Yep.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's jump over to the next issue, and then we'll see it. We have some blocker here, or not yet decided. Maybe we get it done now. Where's the screen? Here. I want to share the screen here. Here I have had some discussions with Fran, and but where is it? Here, not. Takes a second. Pretty much discussion done so far. So yeah. The one here is about you have two types of request reply. One is a static one. That's a pretty easy case. Here you say you have a request channel and a reply channel. But from time to time, you have things like inboxes for the reply. So every process creates an inbox and say, hey, this is my request. And the response goes, please to my inbox. So the address of the inbox need to be part of the message in the dynamic case. And this is where all problems are starting. So you can say here, let's go to the dynamic. Where's the dynamic one? Here. You have a request channel and a reply channel, and say, hey, on the reply dynamic, I have a message. What is? Yeah. Okay. Here we say, okay, my replay location is defined in a message. This is what we have discussed about. Because in a message, we also already defined the correlation ID. So if one client have multiple requests at the same time, he still needs correlation IDs to see what is the answer to my questions, to relate answer and question together, the relation ID. And you need as well a reply channel to say, hey, here in my message header, you find the address of my inbox. Makes this sense to everyone so far? And now we want to say, hey, originally I designed it having the reply channel and the correlation ID defined here in the message. Then for mentioned, it is maybe not that easy to understand, maybe not that straightforward. Hey, we could have it as well in the operation object. Say, hey, this is my replay channel and the replay address can be found here, but in this case, will we also move the correlation ID to have everything together or not? Is the correlation ID part of the message description and the replay allocation part of the operation? That, yeah, those are a little related to each other, I think. And yeah, so this is here an open question if you put it to the operation. And option C is having auto, but per message, yeah. Here is having everything with this. Okay, yeah, you say this option here, you can have multiple replay channels, but the replay channel address location is defined per operation. So it have to be for all possible channels here have to be part of the header, in this case. Or you say, hey, same, you have it on level operation, but say I have a message called request, and I can have multiple messages, and can have different locations for the replayed channel for different messages. So possible, but yeah, you should not design it this way, but it's possible. Another option, not written down here at the moment, you could have it on level channel to say, hey, I define a channel, the channel defines a channel address, and yeah, you have here, where's my channel here? You have a channel, you have a channel address, and say, hey, can have here correlation ID. So let's do it this way here. Let's copy it together. Now live, Rob. Sorry, yeah, you want to make it bigger. Yeah, not possible. To say here, I have here my messages in my channel, and say here, I have here my address location, and I have my correlation ID location. Yeah, maybe. This one. Say this one. Yeah. Any votes? What you like most, or?
I have one comment in terms of the correlation ID, because we have already a keyword for specifically correlation ID, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. It's actually on a message level. Because correlation ID are also used for fan out situations where you receive a message, processes, and send out your results. It's for a message or path tracking.
For tracing as well.
Tracing, yeah.
So I left another suggestion on the comments.
Is this the last one here? Here you have it here on the operation level.
Yeah.
This is, I think it's the last one of your. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. lots of messages there.
Yeah.
So yeah, my suggestion there is that in the case of the dynamic ping pong here, for instance, we
Mhm.
can have a channel, which is a channel root, right? In this case, we have messages, and we say like we only accept the ping message in this operation. As you can see on the root channel definition, there is well, if you scroll above in the root channel definition,
Let me go. Yeah.
there-
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
so in the root channel definition, there can be two messages, ping,
ping and pong,
right?
yeah.
So for this specific operation, we say now you can only use ping here in this operation, right? And the reply, in the reply we say for the ping message, the reply will be located here in this location, right? In the case of the dynamic, this is what I'm looking
sure.
at. This one is the static one. The one that you're highlighting is a static one, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So and the dynamic says like location instead, right? Instead of having a $ref, you have a location keyword, and that is like, yeah, like this is where you can find it, right? Another way to do it.
Yeah, but you have to define the pong as well, because you need to define the message payload and everything like that.
It's already there. It's on the root channel, right? Defined, right?
Yeah, but okay, you say here the channel, but the channel don't have to be the same for a request and reply. It's very common that the channel are different.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, but it's well, in this case, yeah, it's not just the location. We need something else. We need.
So this is why I originally proposed something like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you
something we can do is that if channel is not defined, then it means the same channel. Cool.
Yeah. But in this case, I would guess you should have something like this. Say, hey, it's the response is possible. It's this message. What here is not working as well. Here you say the response for the ping. So if the message is ping, the response is pong.
Yes.
$ref will not work. You can have multiple response. Like my request is create something. The response can be creation successful, or the response can be generic error.
This can be an array. Yeah, this can be an array, or this can be a map of different messages as well.
Yeah. So this mapping here would not work. So when you have to say here pong and say okay. Don't work like this, and yeah, you say here the location is at this point, but you have to say the location also need here, because the request message contains the location of not the response. So
yeah, location is actually a field of the request, not of the
they have to look like this. And now you are somewhere on my my second example at the moment.
Yeah, I was just saying that I kind of don't like this mess that we have right now. It's confusing. It's confusing.
I think what makes it a bit confusing is not only the syntax, but the use case around it. Because when we discuss these kind of use cases, all of them, like these 4 specific use cases, right? And sometimes we kind of mix the definitions between them together and the examples together. So now you need something here, but here you need this. And to me, it gets mingled really fast. And it's really hard to follow along.
Yeah, this is why I always try the most complicated use cases. So you have those static and you have the dynamic one. And so this is why I try always to have those both use cases and the dynamic one in the most complicated options. So pong.
Okay, just to clarify, so when you say static or dynamic, so you basically mean static in the way like it's with Kraken, right? So it's defined well what messages you can send, what you get in response. When you say the dynamic, you mean this case with Kafka and this pattern of request reply when you specify actually the location in the header, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, dynamic is you have well-defined addresses. Static is you have well-defined addresses, like your WebSocket example. Yeah, you have only one address, or you can have it the static way, all as well as with Kafka or with how is the MQTT broker named? I don't know anymore. But yeah, there are a lot of messaging-based broker knowing different addresses. So you can have here the static way and the dynamic way.
Okay.
But yeah, mostly if you have a message router, you have dynamic, and you have WebSocket where you have a point-to-point connection, you have the static way. What does this would now mean? You have, let me get his complete message. So yeah, so what end up, we have it this way here. Let's say ping. Now you have here the replay. I think it was named like this here. I don't really remember, but in the message there is already a correlation ID. Because that makes sense here, because you can use correlation ID for tracing and for request reply identification. It's the same, but different use case for the same field.
Yeah, the only difference is that it's actually correlation ID. As far as I remember, it's an object.
Yeah,
it's location and something else.
Yeah, location and description. But yeah, you have here the correlation ID. And you have here the reply topic or something like this. This is why I called this channel originally. Let me go here. Where's my sample? No, I did not find this as fast. My correlation ID was some kind of object. Let me see if I can grab the spec. What is? No, correlation ID. Damn. Correlation ID object. Yeah, its location. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah. So this is one option. You can say this is why I propose to have here more like channel. Yeah, here we describe the message. So yeah, it's pretty weird. Yeah, you have once to have the channel address. So yeah, in the channel, this field was named address. This was my original proposal, because the channel object. Let me see if I find it. Channel object contains address. Yeah.
Wasn't it the reply channel actually? Because just trying to map to current.
Let's see if I find it. Database. No, I'm unable to find it so far. But yeah, you have the channel, and in the channel you have the location, so I called it channel address. But I changed it so often, now I'm not really remember anymore. Damn. No, sorry, I not find it.
Just or this is just a suggestion, an overall suggestion actually. Would it make sense if we took the smallest use case first, merged that, made a new PR for the next use case,
No,
adapted the old one
will not
to
work.
this new?
You have to use the complicated.
I mean, for me, it doesn't matter whether you start with the complicated or start with the lowest one, but the complicated few can follow. That's the problem. If you add complexity slowly, people are more, I mean, it's easier to follow.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to do, but it's not working. Because in an easy case, you can do things very, very easy. That will not work in the complicated anymore. So
I know.
As soon as you go to complicated, you have to change everything again and again and again.
Actually, what I think it's that actually the example that we're looking at now, it was easy and we tried to complicate it. So the problem is that the request reply, like as you show here, there are two use cases, static and dynamic, and they are for different protocols. And we now just basically took the example from WebSocket, and because like I'm saying it because I haven't seen in WebSocket a dynamic approach, but like, so what we see here is we're taking a real use case and we try to also have dynamic approach in it, which is not natural for this example.
Not for WebSocket, yeah, but for as soon as you go to messaging broker technologies as Kafka or MQTT or whatever, the dynamic approach is a standard approach.
Yeah. But it's standard approach for these protocols. I mean, and this example it's a real example of WebSocket where you don't have this dynamic approach.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what I'm saying, like that maybe we should actually have two examples, real examples.
You do have these examples in the case of socket.io, for instance. In socket.io, which is using WebSockets, you usually find the inbox, the dynamic.
Yeah, but we don't have real example of real application that behaves that way. That's what I mean. So in case of
I've worked on something like this in the past myself, for instance.
Do you have async API for it?
No, I mean before working on async API, I've done this on socket.io in the past. Like so,
but I meant that we don't have async API file for it. So
no.
We're doing, we're doing something that is really. Is it really possible that in one async API file you're gonna have two use cases, like that one application will have some dynamic and some not?
No, really unlikely.
Maybe, but like we don't have async API for it. So what's the that's what I think complicates here, because like we have like it's super confusing. Like why you can't?
Yeah, but here you have a chicken egg problem. You cannot design it at the moment with Spec 2.0, so there is nothing. As soon as you allow the people to design it, they will design it. You know what I mean? You will not find real-world examples. You only will find some real-world workarounds.
We have two real-life examples that are in 2.0. They don't have, of course, request reply because that's not supported, but we know that they work around it in a way, so we can model them with 3.0.
Sure.
But that's so. Just basically, what I'm saying is that, like, I don't think it's a good way to have one simple example because these are two different use cases. So I would say, like, if the best is actually to have two separate examples.
Yeah, sure. As soon as you have specs 3.0 with including workarounds or description fields or whatever, I can model it.
Yeah.
But at the moment, this is what I see the only possible solution. What is not very nice here is that you have the channel address location on the operation base and the correlation ID on the message base, but I don't see here a solution. Because the correlation ID is a multi-purpose. This here is a single purpose, so you cannot move them on the same level. So what I designed first having the channel address here on the message level to have correlation ID and channel address together. Then Form mentioned, hey, you have now here on the operation level, you say this is the channel. Well, this is the message, this is the channel, but the real channel comes out of the message. not long together. So in this case here, you have the channel and the location at the same point. So you easily can see what is the real location that will be used. With the downside that correlation ID and channel address not long together. Any opinions here? What is the best or the worst solution?
Mhm.
Having channel address at operation level or at message level?
I mean, I have an opinion, but I
Just
don't
say
have.
it.
But my opinion is it's really not. It's not good at all. Like it's just I don't have a solution. That's what I mean. Like my opinion is that if we move it to the message, it might be a little bit confusing that you have to put these specific things on the message and not on the reply part of it, of the operation. But I understand that if we put it on the reply part of the actually not on the reply, on the messages part of the operation, then no, I'm not saying operation. Don't count a vote from me. Not yet. You're going too fast.
There is no good
So what I'm
solution.
saying, so what I'm saying is that I understand that this is a problem. Now, what I'm thinking is that maybe, so now I'm thinking about a different thing as well. Like, what if we don't have reply on the operation at all, right? So what if reply, the reply section is on the message, right? And it's not in the operation.
Yeah, then one message have to mention the other message. And the message don't know anything about channels. Then if you have it on a message level, the whole channel thing here will explode. So you have to put this on a message level. You don't want it there. You can talk about put everything in a channel level, but then it makes even not really much. Then you are again at Spec 2 designed it. On the channel you have receive and responses. Then you are
So
back to this one.
Yeah, so my point is that what if we, for instance, on the message level, there will be a reply like we have now, but you cannot have channel, right? You can only have what you added, actually, the location, right? Like where is this, where yeah, the way it was in the beginning, right? So thing is that even when it's static,
you say have it here. Say here we have reply channel, maybe
something like that, and then there you can probably have either location or $ref. $ref will point to a specific channel, right? And location will point to a dynamic case, right? Where the channel is
on
not...
the static case, you put you point on a static channel.
Yes.
On a dynamic case, you tell where in the message to find the location.
Exactly. So that's all on messages. But then my point is that then you don't need reply at all on the operation, right?
Yeah, you maybe want to limit messages. So then, yeah, then we go back to original location and say, hey, it's not root, it's root ping.
Yes.
And you don't have the messages.
No, you should have the messages. You should have the messages because you want to limit the operation to a specific set of messages. And that is actually that's why you don't need the reply, because you have the messages property, right?
But then you cannot reuse the message, yeah? Across several operations.
What are the chances that you want to reuse the same message in different, like with different responses, right? You usually define a message and it's always going to be used the same way, right? You don't use it for other things, right? If you mean reusing payload, for instance, payload can be a schema. a reusable schema. Headers can be a reusable schema.
But description is different.
Yeah, but
so-
what you don't have
But,
here is
yeah.
the schema of the response. You don't have those here, Pong and don't work. That need to be defined in a request message, or where do you want to define the possible answers, the schema of the possible answers?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So I can already, so one of the comments I left 1 hour ago, sorry for that late, but like basically, so with Kraken, something that I did not explicitly describe in the article as a X response is that to a message ping, you actually have two options to have two different responses. It's either Pong or it's error message because you screwed something with the request. So just this error message can be reused in different, like when I send a subscription event, I can also screw it up. And instead of subscription status, I can receive an error message as well. So you have use case where you have multiple messages in response, and you have use case where you actually have the same message that you'd like to reuse in different
microservices in system. Yeah.
What? Sorry?
In different microservices in system. Yeah.
No, I mean reuse the same error message for different requests. Like
yeah.
Yeah. So
that's completely fine. Yeah.
But but if you get rid of so if everything happens on the message, which I like, but then in the example is message, name of the message, reply.
Yeah, you cannot have multiple replies.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I mean, unless you point to a specific channel that will act as a container of the multiple replies.
Did you by accident try to write Putin? Or reply to Putin?
Reply to Putin?
No, I don't want him. Yeah, this is a possible solution. Say, hey, my channel is reply to ping, and reply to ping contains all valid messages so it contains message Pong and generic error. But then I have to give the ref in both cases, because I need to define the channel anyway. This defines the channel with messages, with the message body schema and everything. And here in the location, I just define the location, but I need the message, possible message.
But then this channel, the reference channel, needs to have address null, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, location and address will be conflicting.
Yeah, sure. Then we are at this point here. Let's try to design it a little bit. Ping. This is, yeah. Where are my channels? I have here now reply to ping. Reply to ping and say, okay, this is not. Yeah. Null, and we have here now Pong and where it was
Generic error.
Let's do it this way. Yeah, this is a possibility to have dedicated channels.
It's just weird.
It is super weird to read. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, it works, but it's super weird to read.
Yeah. Let's try a different approach. Only to make it a little more complicated. So at the moment, we have here at the channel, we have the message and the address. So why not saying what is here? Collation ID. This is damn. Let's copy. We have here the address and say this is my ping channel. Ping goes to here, and I have my address. What about this one?
So you mean that the reply address is on the channel?
Yeah, let's let me start over here. It's source live hacking is sometimes a little bit complicated, but it works. I have here now ping, and I have pong, and I have reply address, location. So location. So I don't need the reply address here anymore. I don't need it here. I have the correlation ID as this level. So I can have the locations together here. And see here, my channel is ping. My message is ping. My replay message is pong. And here as well, I say, okay, this one is ping. My message is ping. I have a reply channel, and I say, here, those are my messages that are possible. Yeah, maybe I have to say this one as well, but yeah. Then I have my channel and my reply channel. So
Yeah, you don't need messages on the reply then. Just
yes, yeah, this is another issue. Do we want the possibility to limit the messages on the operation level or not?
at operation level, yes. On the reply level, in this case, you don't need it because you're using a channel to group them, right?
Yeah, you can say here, okay, my possible answer is pong,
Oh well, yeah,
or
it's there. Yeah. Then you should
user created whatever.
Yeah.
And then you also want to limit. So if you want to limit the messages on the channel, you also want to limit it on a replay channel.
Yeah. You're right. Damn it.
So you get rid of this this part here. You get rid of this part here, so it's easy. But the best from here is you have really the address and the replay address together. You can say here replay address is null.
Yeah. But shit. This is really what does it mean reply address there? Like it's really it doesn't make sense to have
this. You're complete out of the context. You don't know at this point here that you are in a request reply operation.
Yeah.
So you have one request reply thing here and the other thing is here down below.
Yeah, it is.
But you have both addresses together.
Yeah. It's weird. This case is weird. Reply address on the channel is really weird.
Okay. I just wanted to show there's another possibility.
Yeah. That's cool.
This one here, I really not sure if I should like it or not. Because here you have the problem reply ping. You have to put a channel on the message level. It's against the from top to down principle. The message is nearly at the bottom, and you link here to a channel what is more top level thing.
Yeah. That's also weird. Yeah. That's why I was saying like don't count my vote for any of the approaches because I don't like any of the approaches that we have so far. I don't have a better approach, to be honest.
Yeah, but we need to get it some decision. So otherwise we don't get any forward.
But not on the meeting, man. We don't make decisions in the meeting.
Okay.
We just here discussing, trying to find a better way. But yeah, decision needs to be done on the pull request, not here. Because we are only 5 people here, so 6 people here, right? So
yeah, but more important is that we're on the same page because it was hard to follow with all the comments in the PR.
Yeah.
I'm actually at the point where I resolve all discussions in the PR and start again from zero with these 3 approaches here and put them to vote. But in general, yeah, you told me we are only 6 people here, but sorry, in the PR we are not more.
Yeah, but
Everyone-
eventually we have to
Eventually,
have
yes. Yeah, we are 4 co-donors on the spec, and we're only 2 of us here.
5.
So we're still missing Sergio and Vladimir here, so
Okay.
And Dale.
they have to vote.
Yeah,
And
sure.
Dale as
But
well, so we're 5 here.
how would they vote when they don't understand? I cannot explain it in text. It's pretty hard.
That's what the meeting is for. This is being recorded, and they can be watching this recording afterwards. That's why it's important that we are on the same page in this meeting today. So we all understand where we're at, what are the problems that we're facing, and and also discuss potential solution.
Yeah, but we have to keep on the issue now. If we wait weeks and weeks, then everyone forget about the situation, and
No,
I think
don't
we
worry about
need
that.
to make a decision soon.
Well, I mean, we don't have to take it soon, man. That's we are like or at least in my mind is that we release version 3 on April, so we still have time. Don't worry.
It's just about forgetting about the context. I've seen it in the discussions.
Don't worry. We can link this video on the pull request, so some people can watch it. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Any further ideas, or are we now left with this 3 possible proposals how to solve it?
Like my suggestion, update pull request. So we have, but I also suggest let's clean it up because there are some unresolved conversations and it's hard to see which one we follow and not. So resolve the conversations, update what's the current state, I mean the current proposals, and I make commitment that I will take ADO example and for and we'll rework it for 3.0 with all the proposals.
Yep.
I mean, the proposals that are focused on dynamic, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's sitting on the toilet?
Yeah, I have one more left open issue. I don't know if you want to pick up another thing or not. It's about the message thing here. So if we want to limit messages, we say here at the channel, we have here ping and root and a link to the message object. And now we are going to operation and want to limit ping. So I want my ping pong operation is only allowed to receive message ping on the root channel, even if the root channel supports hundreds of more messages. Okay, here I link again to the message, or because if the messages is a map, do I really need here a ref or just say a
that's a good point. Yeah. I will just even to be honest, like I will just make it an array of ping and names, the names of the ID of the messages in the channel.
Yeah.
But the problem, it will be more readable. But the problem is that, I mean, not the problem, but we agreed in another issue that we were going to unify all reference mechanisms in the spec to $ref. So that's why we were using $ref. But you can only use $ref. You cannot paste the whole message there, right? So
so we would use $ref.
But
the messages in general are going to be a list, not a map anymore.
No, it's a map. It's a map. It's saying
a map.
You can undo that. What I mean is that we do leave it as a $ref as it is right now on the messages inside the operation. We leave the $ref there because that's what we agreed on another issue. But I was even thinking like, hey, should we make an exception here because it's hard to read? Like it's actually making it hard to read. But I don't think we should, because otherwise we start having too many. We start having exceptions, right? And $refs will be an identifier like anyone else, right? So
And what's the benefit of having messages of channels a map instead of a list?
Because we
can make the reference.
We can make the reference exactly.
inside the operation.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. List of ref is not so having it this way.
Yeah, in this way you will have to link to 0, 1, 2, 3, right?
Why I have to link to? No, I just always give the ref.
No, I mean on the operation messages, you have
Yeah.
ping, right?
Yeah, it's just why I need a name here, because I have not only ref, I have several elements.
Sorry, it's because you're using the reference to components. You should be using the reference to
I
channel.
can also do here this way.
Yeah, you can only if you define the message inside the components. But if you
Yeah.
want to define message inside the channel and then make the reference to operation, you need the channel message as the map. Because then you need to define something like the channels, root, and 0 or 1, not the name
You
of
mean not having ref anonymous and having here now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some value for some shape for message. Yeah.
Then
And
this
then
one would not work anymore. I cannot have in ref to an anonymous.
no, you can.
I mean, wait, because I think we're going in circles in
Okay.
this thing.
Okay.
So if you go to operations, ping pong, messages, ping, and $ref,
Say the
right
line.
on line 18,
Yeah.
you have in my opinion, I think there should be something limited there. Like on line 18, you should not be able to point to components, messages, ping. You should be able to only point to channels, root, messages, ping, right? So I will limit this $ref to point to the channel, not to the components.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
In this, so that's why you should be able to have a name instead of because otherwise it's an ID. It's the position
sure.
of the
Yeah, no,
array,
it makes
right?
sense for me.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
that's why. So that was the main reason. I will limit this field. It's not defined yet, right? So, but I will limit this field as only being able to point to channels.
Yep.
Right. That's
Sure.
what I will do.
But why?
So
But you can share, the channel across your system in some application.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's the whole point, because you can have the channel in some registry. The message for the given channel you can also have for registry, and you exactly make the reference
Yeah.
to the operation message to this registry. Yeah.
Yes, but you still have to define it on the channels map, right? Independently, it's outside your.
You can, but you should be able to also to register, yeah, because then on the tool inside you can only compare this runtime reference, yeah, and say that okay, this
What do
message
you mean by
exact.
What do you mean by registry? Like a Confluent registry or something like that? Confluent.
Yeah,
tool?
some component with reusable parts, yes, in your system, or you have defined some messages and the channels.
So normal file, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Normal Essence API file, yeah, but only with components.
Yeah, but components are optional stuff. Remember on version 2.
Yeah, I know that.
So if you want to make it like it's used, you still need to point to have channels in your file that will reference this other file where you have these only components. You know what I mean? But you still
it
have
will
to
be the same object, yeah.
It will be the same
Depend on
object.
use case.
It will be the same object. But if we limit to only point to channels in the same file, right?
Mhm.
It makes it easier, right? Because then you can just look at the $ref and easily identify the ID, right? You know what I mean? And
The identity of message, or
the ID of the message, for instance, in this case, like I will just, because it will always be #/channel, the name of the channel, messages, and the ID of the message. So by looking at this string, I can quickly get the message, the message ID, right, inside the channel list.
but you can
What
make
I
the
mean?
reference to the channel, yeah.
You
Sorry,
have to
you can make the reference inside the channel to
Correct.
another channel object, yeah.
Because if you have it on components, it means it's optional. If you want to say that your application is actually connecting to this,
Yeah.
using this channel,
Okay.
you need to map it on the channels map, right?
Okay. I will write some example, but
which actually takes me to another question here. Is like, then do we really need channels under components.
Yeah. No, do you need channels in operations anymore? If you point here to a message that is part of a channel, you get the channel.
I
But
know,
you
I know.
can-
It's just
but-
that you will only need ping, but because we're unifying everything as $ref, then we leave the whole thing, right?
Yeah, sure, but you can also, so when you get rid of this channel object here,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. what you mean.
and then you can say, okay, I have
Okay.
ping, I have maybe foo, and foo is not in a root, foo is in a whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but foo is making no sense. Let's do this one. Then we have one operations is able to receive from different channels. Even more flexibility.
More complexity.
I mean, is there a situation when you want to use the same message in two
Yeah,
channels?
Exactly, that's my point.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but yeah, I do know some crazy architects, so
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it. Yeah, but here you can have again, they can be contradicted. So you can say
Yes.
here channel root and say here channel bar.
Well, that's why I was saying like we should always point to the channel, so the parser could validate that you're actually pointing to the channel that you mentioned above, right?
Okay.
It's a little bit of duplication, but yeah,
So okay.
I don't know.
And
Just
it's
want to mention.
application only if you use messages. You don't have to use messages in the operation.
Oh yeah, of course. If you use messages, that's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah, true.
And do you operate on all messages? Yeah, unfortunately.
You can also have multiple. You can have like instead of root, you can have the ping channel and the pong channel, and both will have the address /
I was
And then
about to ask that there.
you can compartmentize. I don't know, like you can divide, you can categorize by message, right? Even though they're the same channel, they have the same topic in the broker or in WebSocket. They are
And what-
different virtual channels, right?
And wouldn't that remove the messages keyword in the operation?
Completely, yeah, completely. In this case, yes, completely. That's probably another way that we encourage people to do this. Like you don't have messages in the operation, you just group channels logically as you prefer.
Yep, but then we don't have this use case anymore. We cannot have the channel address per message.
You can.
Yes.
You can just do it in the channel instead. So
Yeah.
when you define the channel that's specific for the
Yeah,
ping,
sure. Then we're at this point here. No,
Mm,
what?
Um,
Somewhere defined it in channel here.
One-
What's
one
this
of
one?
But then you need to redefine the channel only for particular operation, yeah?
Yeah, that's,
If you want
Yeah.
to limit some messages. But you know, it's insane.
that's my point. Like you can split. I mean, it is not ideal to me. That's why I wanted to have messages there, right? But
yeah.
might make things easier to reason about in the end. I don't know.
I
But I
would
think-
leave it this way here because it's the most clear, and even for the easy easy case, it's pretty easy to read. You have a channel and you have messages to the channel, and yeah, for easy cases it's nice. What you mentioned is easier to read for complex cases.
What the messages, having messages, you mean?
Yeah, but Stant, you're right. You don't have messages in the channel. You have only messages in operations.
No, I said the opposite. Yeah.
Ah, okay. You've
We
only.
don't have messages on the operations.
Yeah, sure.
We only leave it on the channels. That's what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah, but then you have multiple channels with the same address.
exactly. Which is completely fine because channels don't have to map directly to a single topic.
Yeah,
Right.
not anymore.
That's why address is a field instead of the key of the channel,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
That's why we moved it to a field.
Yeah.
So that you can logically, whatever makes sense for you, you can logically group them as you prefer. Like in this case, for instance, we instead of root, we could have the ping channel and the pong channel,
Yeah.
and both of
Sure.
them will have this last address.
Yeah,
Right.
I decided to have so much. No, that's not the right one.
Too much there.
we have
No, it's
5 more
still
minutes,
here.
4 more minutes to go.
Yeah,
Oh,
somewhere I designed it. So I guess not. Oh, yeah, it's here. Yeah, reply address. It's here.
And that will be
This way.
pretty common in WebSockets, for instance, where there are no address, right? Or the address is a slash for everyone, right? So in this case, yeah, in this case, it makes sense that you probably want to group as you prefer, right?
So you may get rid of those message thing here.
Yes.
That's the idea, to get rid of those messages and messages. Yeah, this is the last question. So as soon as this is decided, I guess those messages thing is not really part of the request reply discussion. Is it another PR or?
Well, it is. I mean, it is because it's affecting how we design the request reply feature, right?
Yeah.
So it is definitely, if not part of the pull request, it's a requirement, right? It's a blocker. Like we need to make sure if we want to have messages there on the operation or not.
Yeah.
Before you continue, right?
Sure. So I would be fine. I will create those proposals. So then we have one proposal with messages here and one without. And then need to vote somehow, or need one be chosen.
Mm-hmm.
What is the general workflow you have for those problems where we don't have the very nice solution, but yeah, every solution has a downside? How do you vote?
We on the pull request we have the discussion, and if we can't come to an agreement, all of us, then we just ping the code owners to vote, which I don't think ever happened. Like we always try to come to an agreement.
It's always about finding consensus, right?
Yeah, we try to find consensus all the time. So yeah.
Okay. So
yeah,
I will write down the proposals and then
voting.
ping you via Slack to start discussion or.
Yeah, but what Lucas said, like I wouldn't worry about that, to be honest. Like we just need to explore and make it clear the upsides and downsides of all of them, right? And trying to make it clear for everyone to grab their hands around and so we can have a better discussion, right? Because right now I agree, like the current pull request, I'm familiar with it, but whoever lands on the current pull request, it will be a mess.
Yeah.
Right? It will be super complicated to follow. So because of the discussions, we just need to resolve discussions there. And probably all these examples, you can probably come up with, you can probably add these examples that we're working on here as different files, and then we can comment on those files, and then those files will be removed, right? So, but it's just to improve the conversation on the pull request, at the pull request level, right? Because on comments, it's harder to, like replying to your comment, like, yeah, I like your idea, but I will change this line or this other line. It's repeating the same code over and over and over. So if we can discuss over a specific line, that will be amazing. But yeah, as you prefer.
Yeah, good point. I will check
and when I have IDEO, I can also send it to you, and you can also commit it. So
yeah, you commit it as another file, and then we can have discussions over the files, over the examples, right? And then we work on the spec once we have agreement on how the examples will look like, right? Because it's not clear yet.
All right, we're out of time. Bearer of bad news. Anyone have any final remarks before ending the meeting?
No, just want to say that, I mean, thanks for the patience, man. You're doing a great job here, exploring lots of possibilities. So yeah, we're gonna make it. Just let's make sure that we're all on the same page. So yeah.
Sure, just try to avoid to be stuck somewhere.
No worries. We're gonna make it for version 3. It's a key feature. So yeah.
And before we started live stream, we talked about like how late is this meeting. So just remember, Heiko, that like before we did not discuss it on 3.0 meeting, but we had dedicated meeting at an hour that is best for all of us, so we can sync on Slack if we want to have a meeting on different hour that everyone agree with. We can easily set it up as we did before.
Yeah, sure. As soon as it seems we are all in the same time zone, and yeah, I would prefer an architecture discussion not that late at afternoon. So
yeah. And luckily, all the code owners are from Europe so far. So
yeah.
All right. Guess that's it. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You guys, bye.